Things that would actually bring that kind of music. That was really a lot of, really a lot about history, spirituality, things that would bring something meaningful now.
Well, that's right? Today I was watching something.
Like
I
check
am.
1, 2.
Is a height. It's funny that I just give myself these thoughts and others come on here. Other people.
No, we go here. Or they'll be on a panel, and they have a whole crowd that will come and
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if I know Kitty, but hear what she said. And these my thoughts, like she said exactly how I would have thinking. Why did God create his woman from the rib? Why she didn't create him from the head? Create her from the head or from the foot? It's because the rib by design is meant to support or protect the heart. Nobody think that I said?
I catch that.
The rib itself,
Yeah.
no, the rib was created. The rib, every rib that you have was meant to support or protect the heart. The rib also is connected to the spine, which is what? Is it taking knife?
If I have music on YouTube, yeah, I have hold on, just to put people up.
So, in designer, it has certain things that you don't really have to think of. Not about it. But if you really meditate on what these things are, you can understand. You understand?
Please accept it. And just for me, very.
It's height. Because if Father don't do nothing. No, I believe in the Creator, of course. What?
I don't think any song that is
I mean, something better than usual. No, I'm conscious of it.
Me too.
I'm conscious of it. Now, I write them something out. Yeah? Which one is it? Well, yeah, and yes, I guess what you I do believe, because basically I move away from it. I understand that people, I understand that as Paul said in the Bible, you know, let's say I know nothing. That's one of the things that people start more your head over.
Good.
You understand? So when I realized that, my input and regards to what we do, in regards to music and the kind of music we want to bring to the space. I already back, I just already, I already raised myself to be good, right? I got be music by who wants to hear. Like, you know, like the Bible says, who have ears let them hear, who have eyes to see let them see, right?
I mean, this is a soul for your production. No longer my walk on the cornfield. No longer my walk on the cotton field. I'm a master of my own mind. No longer can evil step to me. No longer you call me a slave. You hate to fool, you better keep that in your reign. Me a stand as a free man. So my sucker pass no blame. I free that 1,000 slaves, I could have free some more. But enough of them, I never open up the door. Jaja make it clear, you are free, you are free, you are free to explore. Me make a stand for my people, them. They have to see me wanna free all of them. Look and see the pages of the timeline. Slavery never ends.
And the message is not important, the mission not important. Don't sing because I sing. I really look like a real serious bubble boy.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I know we like.
Pleasant good night to everyone. And welcome to another episode of We Don't Give a
Sip.
Right, so tonight it's our pleasure to be here again. We are continuing our topics, but before we go into anything, we want to make sure that you are hearing us. So you could just let us know if you're hearing us loud and clear. We are live also on YouTube, sorry. So you can check out YouTube. We Don't Give a Sip.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to get us there if you're not getting us clearly on the Facebook. But let us know if you're hearing us and if you're seeing us and if everything is good so that we could get things
How
rolling.
I looking like a vision? I looking like a vision and you looking like a dream. I find I looking like a
Yeah,
vision.
it's for real though.
Yeah, I find I looking cloudy, yeah, like a vision and you like a dream over here, clear and clean. Must it, I should put on some makeup. Lie.
Hey,
Yeah.
stop it.
Well, it is what it is. We here in studio.
Loud and clear. Thanks, Dean.
Nice.
Good
So
evening.
we hear loud and clear. Right. So we audio good, everything good, we comfortable. Yeah, drink a stack, so I feeling nice.
Yeah.
I feeling comfortable.
Normal, I know.
Yeah.
Eh?
Well, it's normal. That is normal vibes. Yeah. So we are here. Sorry, at ABW Signature Media Plus.
Yes.
Big up to the team, Pete, Lightman, Dev, technical operator for every single thing or let us see, and audio tech, Mr. Andy, as well as the host for this, this establishment.
This
All
lovely
right.
space.
So we are here. We're going to continue the discussion where we're talking about Tobago, if Tobago culture is sellable, and we want to dive into the discussion. And before we do that, I want to introduce the guest. He's no stranger.
No stranger to us.
He's family by now.
Once you grace this space once, that is it.
That is it.
Family.
That is it.
So,
By the way,
ladies
you
and
share-
gentlemen,
you
yeah,
share
we
the
grew
live?
on the inside.
You share the live?
Yeah, I have been.
All right, share the live, share the live.
Stop it. Ladies and gentlemen, 6 strings on the inside.
Yeah.
Blessings.
Dream. Thanks for being here with us another afternoon as
Yeah.
we, separate, we go into
Dissect.
the depths and we dissect and do a little introspection into this topic where it concerns our island of Tobago and our artists and the creatives and the music and the culture.
Yeah.
Right? So, I don't think we have any random talks this afternoon.
Yes.
We do?
No random talks. We
What's-
always
what's-
gonna have random talks.
What is the random
Well, I know
talk
all
this
that I
afternoon?
interested in right now. My interest basically is in Africa right now, and what is going on in Africa with Ibrahim,
Burkina
right?
Faso.
Yes, man, Burkina Faso.
So, do re mi fa so.
You need to start doing your research where that is concerned.
True,
right? I've seen of late. I think when we left here last week, I actually used my wife phone. I just put it out there for those who want to sponsor me a phone. I'm looking for a note. Yes, please link up your brother.
Notes.
I saw that I think is South Korea is in support of Africa. I'm like, yo, this man say, hey, if they come for you, I go send my people for them.
Wow.
I say, shucks, this thing
Wow.
is serious.
No,
you know,
yes.
South Korea, the army, hey, the military arm is
Right.
vast. So to see
Yeah.
Russia
Wow.
and South Korea in support of this man, all I need to leave that man alone.
Well, you have to remember now that Russia and South Korea are two places that believe in freedom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
True
Exactly.
freedom
True
to it.
freedom.
Okay.
Yeah, true
Wow.
freedom. Right? Although South Korea kind of have it.
No,
Yeah,
that's culture.
Yeah,
That's culture. You
yeah,
can't
yeah,
get
and
away
I
from
can't
that.
mess with that. It's
Yeah,
true,
you can't
it's
get
true,
away
it's true.
from
But other than that, I really seen the support of this initiative, this man, beside, giving free education up until college, the gold factory, the tomato factory, and the other factories that he intend to bring into Africa, where you want to bring the unity of all the African countries.
Yeah.
Yo, this is something I was this is something so
History.
powerful. This is not just for Africa, but for every African centric country, which inclusive of Tobago,
Tobago,
Yes.
correct.
right? We are a part of this conversation.
Well, let me say
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
I apologize, but
No.
I want to pray for this man.
Who
Not
that?
now, but I want to pray for this man's safety.
Who that? Oh yes, Abraham.
Because listen to me.
yeah.
Apart from war, general war, and all out war, remember the enemy,
Yeah.
crafty and
Yeah.
cunning.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And anybody that ever tried, look at the Black Star Liner and Marcus Garvey. The closest man to Marcus Garvey was the traitor. If you know the
gosh.
story.
Okay.
Which is why that the Rastas have a saying that some ship or some plane when and come for them, the Black Star Liner.
Black Star. Yeah, you
Right.
Black Star.
The Black Star Liner is an actual shipping company
Okay.
that Marcus Garvey started,
Okay.
where he would have gone to the different Caribbean islands
Uh-huh.
and picked up anybody that wanted to go to Africa on the
Right.
way, because the ending mission was to go to
Africa. Okay.
and they stopped that. The man closest to this man was a CIA agent and killed this man. Yeah,
So I agree with you. I'm gonna say not just based on agreement, but understanding what is going on. Because the individuals right now who would have actually been coerced into wanting to take out Ibrahim, and this is modern day assassination.
Okay.
You seen this before? This is things that you would have actually seen on movies. You understand?
Movie thing.
But seeing movie thing coming in real
It's
life.
All
home
right.
in your yard.
No, but listen, it have something called what they call it, karmic retribution. I don't want to go down that road. But there's something called karmic retribution, where it is, if I do something to you
Right.
that you might consider evil, but I've made you aware about it before, I don't have any karma to get from it.
Oh.
You
No, that's
understand?
something I need to research.
So Hollywood,
Yeah.
which is a type of tree that they use in psychic
Yeah,
meaning,
yeah.
giving visions or false visions. Hollywood,
Yeah.
We're talking about the tree,
The
not
tree,
the,
not the
establishment
Right.
yet. Eh?
Yeah, not the industry.
So
yeah.
we're looking at Hollywood now, the establishment, the place, where designed to actually give you the information that they're supposed to be giving you, but in a way that we're able to accept it
Yeah.
without saying that, we against this now.
We speak on this now. We talk on this already.
Yeah, I remember we
It is
did.
predictive programming.
Mm-hmm.
Predictive programming.
Correct.
Yes. Yeah. No. And I always tell she this about that. That basically we've seen that they have been doing it for so many years.
Yes,
And I told we had a discussion about this when we was talking about religion, and I told was me and Kalonji was talking. And I tell Colin, I say, yo, you had to know that predictive programming started way back from in the church. Do you know that the things that they talk about in end times, I'm sorry that we're going on this route, but we don't talk about end times and whatever the case may be, is on the basis of if you believe it. Remember, your thoughts manifest or manifest to reality.
Right.
So the thing is now, if you believe on this thing that they say, it will come to pass because you believe it.
Of
Yeah.
course.
You know you could counteract that by not believing in it.
Well, yeah.
But one thing, these people, I don't like to go down these roads.
Don't give us-
Become attack. You can become attack. Don't get tired.
Yeah.
But these people have things in place. Not now.
No.
Not 10 years ago. Not even 100 years ago. Slavery was something planned.
Yeah.
400 years. We now in the 500 year. And we still seeing the
Seeing the
effects,
effects
of slavery
Exactly.
from 500 years ago. And these people have had dominance for more than
Exactly.
500
Oh, yeah,
years.
exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly,
Because
exactly.
in order to in order to go on the conquest that they went on, they had to get permission from who? The Pope.
Yeah. Yep.
Who is the Pope?
Mm-hmm.
The Pope is a representation of who?
Mm-hmm.
Rome.
Yep.
And who is the Romans? If you, I know,
Yeah.
forget that. let me go down. Let me go down. But the idea is, you know that these
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
have the power
Yeah.
to do what they're saying that they're going to do,
And they
regardless
do it.
if they put it in a book or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the fact that they put it in a book and they tell you, like I say, karmic retribution.
And
The fact that I tell you that this is what I'm going to do, and you don't object to it, I have no karma
Come on to
for
Yeah.
whatever I do to you,
Okay.
because you
Yeah.
accept it. Eh?
Exactly.
God.
No,
Interesting.
no, we coming to the end of that
Mm-hmm.
conversation. So we basically still talking about Abraham, right? Now, the aspect of that, ties into, because I always tell my wife that when it comes to today relationship, and I'm talking about society or your community, your village, whatever you may call it, right? And how we operate as to our relationship today come from the basis of what we were taught, right? You see the whole aspect where you talk about Rome, the whole council of Nicaea. Everybody thinking about that was a council that they were meeting, that they want to take out certain things from the Bible. It wasn't just that. It wasn't just that. It was to orchestrate or to make sure that they set a method as to no matter who live or who lead, right? Is that is what we're going to live by. Today for today, we go by the democracy.
Okay.
Those are dead man tales,
Okay.
right? Those are dead men thoughts and ideas, and we're still living by those things today. You understand? So again, I agree with you. We need to really pray for this man, Ibrahim. This man is making a revolution for African
Correct.
people all
All
over,
over the world. Correct.
And if the what they call the those United European countries that decide to hit him a sanction, and they want to hit him sanctions to stop the unity of the other African countries.
Yeah.
There's two things. If they accomplish, if Abraham accomplish what he need to accomplish, good for us in the Caribbean country, right? If he do not accomplish it by the way of assassination or by the way of wherever it is, then we become a target. You understand? We become a target. And I'm talking about every single, well, you know what they do Haiti, right? You know what they do Gaddafi. You understand? So there are leaders who would have rise up, always would have rise up to bring African people to that state. But then again, we are our own enemy.
Correct.
You understand? We are our own enemy. But that is it for for random conversations, and again, you know, like keep the president in all your praise, man.
For sure.
Right, so right now we're gonna jump into the conversation, the real deal. We're talking about the quality of Tobago and, you know, making it sellable. But I want to dive into a conversation we would have actually saw a post of it on Facebook. I think Joshua would have been the one who would have posted about the IP, which is basically saying intellectual property, and how we could be able to benefit as Tobago artists, as well as not just as artists. People don't even self-realize that Carnival, we being the creators of the Carnival that we see, not the brand of Carnival that we created, that we could actually own the intellectual property and reap benefits from it. Now, I might be taking a stretch where that is concerned, right? And maybe, but there are a lot of things that we see that came out of our Carnival. For instance, let me give you an example. Jab Jab. Who brand Jab Jab for today? Grenada.
Grenada, yeah.
Grenada branded Jab Jab. Where Jab Jab come from? Here. Right? Now I might be reaching, right? But when I know about Jab Jab, I know about Jab Jab in Trinidad and Tobago Carnival. Right? And then when they come down and they experience the oil and the paint and the devil thing, we know that back in the day, I think he was talking about it, couple of Abyssinia and thing. Playing the devil was to tell the devil that I'm afraid of you. You understand? So when you get to understand the things that people take from our culture, and then they make it their own, and they branding it to make their festival and their event a fruitful one for their tourism, I'm like, okay, what we doing? You understand? So we want to go into the aspect on the conversation of the IP, and let me know what you understand about the IP first, and then we could dive in. Intellectual property, that is very basically what it means.
Yeah, but question though, pertaining to the same thing with Grenada, with the Jab Jab. Now, here is home for Jab Jab. So if Grenada takes Jab Jab and brands it, are they doing something that puts a better spin on it, or is it being presented authentically or as good as how? How come? How?
Listen, I want to say something.
Yeah.
You ever been to Grenada?
Never.
Me neither, but my parents have been.
I've been to Grenada once.
My grandmother from Grenada.
Right, and if you ever hear Grenada, you ever hear Grenadians and stuff? Or they song just like
Just
me,
like
you know?
yeah.
They don't song like Trinidadians,
They don't have
they don't song like nobody else,
distinctive,
but they song
dialects.
like we.
Shall we
Ah,
have like an authentic
good, but that's
Grenadians
Grenadians song
language, yeah.
just like we.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
in my mind, I think
There's no
Grenadians is we, you know?
Yeah.
The same tribe, land here, land there.
Right.
You understand?
For real.
So it's not like the thiefy thing,
Yeah.
or it's
Yeah.
just that it's
Their
energy.
own-
Yeah.
It's energy.
Yeah.
So we have it,
yeah.
and we ain't marketing it in the way that we supposed to be marketing it.
Yeah.
So, but them having coming from the same tribe,
Yeah.
understanding the same things that we understand, because look at that boy, I see us over there too, you know.
Yeah.
You understand? It's just that they don't market over here.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
the same culture, it's the same people, I believe. You understand?
Yeah. And after
So
that.
I believe it's just that they market it in a way, just like what you're just saying, that we need to market it.
Yeah.
But being the godfathers of the Jab Jab, we need to market it in the way that it was originally
Originally.
created. And
Alright.
once we do that, then we gonna have
Then we
something
gonna
to
have
sell.
something to
Correct.
sell.
You understand?
Exactly.
Because Jab
Yeah.
them have
Go
it
back
on,
to the
but them have
origin.
it like we.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I talking about man used to jar phone, man, have pig blood in them mouth.
Yeah.
Them all them not do- sorry, I mean it like that, Grenadian, sorry. But them just blow their fire and do
Yeah.
their thing. It's
And
other men just
paint
rub
up
down
with
their
their
skin with the
blue
oil in
thing
their
and
blood and
the-
the thing.
Yeah.
With their foul neck and all kind of thing. But when you really see, my father, I wasn't alive, so my father was telling me. My father said, this thing was so serious. Abyssinia, who I say is my first cousin, he used to live in a house by himself. He never used to see this man unless it's carnival time.
Carnival time. Wow.
You understand? I used to tell you how serious. So
Yeah.
he had a mystery to just the man whole
Yeah.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
You understand
So
what I'm
he
saying?
was actually living
He
it.
That
was
is what
actually living it.
into.
Yeah.
Man used to
Yeah.
say he's a big old a man, he's a this, he's a
Yeah.
that. Because naturally that is what the man lifestyle is.
Lifestyle is, yeah.
So
So
it's
if
more
we
than-
market it like that, I
Yeah.
think we have a better chance of making something out of it now. But if not, then we got just be doing the same thing or copying. It
Yeah.
look like we
Yeah,
copying
do the same
Grenada.
thing.
You know that kind of way?
Yeah, I catch you.
Mhm.
Because we the same people.
Somebody comment?
Yeah, many comments there.
Yeah, so basically, they didn't say, well, Carnival as a whole is TNT's brand, though. And the Wild Kitty, Kit and Cambole. Oh, you're talking about something else here. Okay.
You know what is that really?
Me neither.
Kit and Cambole.
No, you know.
Hey, all you had to teach me on some of them things.
Yeah, if all you know it is,
Yeah,
put it in the
TNT
comments.
created Carnival and all elements involved. They trying to steal parts of a whole. Okay, inside unlocked. Grenada is very heavy on tourism. They don't play when it comes to marketing.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah,
agreed.
that's true. I feel better to continue with Abraham. Don't you? Yeah,
Lane.
then yes, problem. Hey, yeah. Right. So I was just going through the comments. Yeah, no. Now the thing is, we talk about IP and intellectual property. Intellectual property speaks to what you own. Like for instance, let me give an example. Like, say for instance, I own Minty. Right, the song all you hear reggae music, right? I own that song, so that is my intellectual property. I created that, so whatever I created, I own that. I own the rights to that music. So that way we call the intellectual property, right? And it's in the name.
Right.
It's in the name, right? So when you own something, right, in regards to your IP, right, one of the things that we discover and over the years is that, and we was talking about it behind the scene, when it comes to being an independent artist and you own all your masters, then you have the opportunity now to sell or even lease your masters, which is your intellectual property, right? Now, with that now, we would have researched before we get here. Eve would have been one of the artists, rapper, back in the day with DMX and the Rough Riders and thing. She sold her catalog for 8 figures, which was sums up to between 25 to 50 million, right? For her whole catalog. Now, what that does is then now, let's say for instance, Netflix want to bring in the music, right? Want to use some music. Whatever company owns that catalog, they're gonna tell Netflix, well, if you want to use any song or any part of the song, whatever the case may be, here what, 500,000. You understand? 500,000. Now, she already sell it. So the company owns that catalog. Say, for instance, like we know of in history when the Beatles, right? Michael Jackson did own the rights to Beatles until Sony wanted was to get a chunk of it. And, you know the thing. And Michael Jackson is history today. Right? Because, there's a rumor that black man not supposed to own nothing.
All right, good.
You understand? So, in regards, I'm saying that to say this, how serious
Correct.
other places in regards to where the music
Correct.
is concerned, how they take this thing so serious and we out here playing. You understand? So the thing is now, I want us to kind of like really, to dissect in getting into the rights, people owning the rights, people understanding what those things mean, and see how we could able to better build a platform for not just ourselves being a part of the music scene in Tobago, but for the other generation to come.
Colonji is saying here that it's a Rajman said the other day, Tobagonians aren't known to be into the carnival thing. It's a new thing. We've had talent come out from Tobago and went to Trinidad and outside. Why are we entering spheres that we aren't known for historically?
Why we are not entering spheres?
No,
why are we entering spheres into things that we don't know?
That we
Nah,
aren't
I
known
don't
for
think-
historically.
I don't think that is, sorry, I mean to answer it like that, but I don't think that is, we're not known for that. We create carnival. Carnival that we know about, that everybody copying in the whole world, come from Trinidad and Tobago.
What you?
That is where it come from. So it's not that we're not known for it, it's just that Tobago now never adopt the culture of carnival. But let me be real. Trinidad carnival, that is their tourism. It don't really have no tourism to Trinidad.
Right.
Let me be real. Anything that you can get in Trinidad, you can get in New York. Like again, if you understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
Tobago.
Mm.
When they talk about Tobago, is because Tobago is the beaches,
Mm-hmm. The river.
the pink sand,
Yeah,
the river.
Yeah.
You understand?
Mhm.
The no man's land.
Yeah, the sites,
the
yeah.
the shallow. Where you call this place? In the
Swallows?
middle. No, in
Where?
the middle of the sea, where you could just stand up in the wherever.
Uh-huh.
Close to no man's land.
Island
Island pool.
pool.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
The biggest brain, the second biggest brain coral.
Yeah,
You understand what? So we have things that we
yeah.
could market.
We
Yeah.
could
You
market.
You understand?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I look at the carnival as an opportunity
Mhm.
to add something to bring the
people to
You understand?
Right.
So
yeah.
we have, all right, as artists, we have artists here now that
Mhm.
you could say that these artists from Tobago,
Yeah.
music.
Yeah.
We have Panis.
Mhm.
We have Dam Lorraine, people who just play these
Play
things.
these-
We have
play the
people who,
things, yeah, the
like we say, we
characters.
want to get the jab in our gear.
mhm,
So we have people who just play jab, the new Abyssinia and them.
mhm.
If you understand what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah,
These are
yeah.
the things we need
Yeah.
in order to market it.
Mhm.
But it's not that we're not known for these things. It's just that we never paid attention too much to
yeah.
these things because culturally we know that Trinidaders do their thing.
Mhm.
You understand? But if it is we pay attention to it, I think that we could gain more recognition than Trinidad and all.
Well, remember, we keep saying that since last week that Tobago hasn't developed its own identity.
Exactly.
We are still trying to figure out who we are as a people, and in order for us to go forward,
After 60
we have
something years?
to know who we are. Right? So even Kalandri is saying here, our thing has always been selling our cultural experiences, marketing and designing new norms and experiences around it. It's as though Tobago is still trying to find its identity as it pertains to that creative feel and branching out.
No, I
agree.
I haven't.
I agree with that.
I am looking at this thing and I'm listening to all you're saying, and I figure like you have a big lull in our culture.
Well,
A big lull. I don't know if it's because it wasn't documented properly. I do not know. Right? It's just when, well, 2 or 3 years ago, we started to play, well, we didn't play mass yet, but we jump out into the party scene, wherever the case may be, right? So we enjoy the fets, right? Enjoying the fets, wherever the case may be. Understanding the culture a little bit more. Well, my wife does do background for Calypso. So she started to get a little bit more knowledge as to what goes on into the Calypso scene and that kind of stuff. Now, the feedback I tend to get back a lot is a lot of fight, a lot of quarrel, a lot of segregation within the craft, right? Now, the question I was supposed to ask when I started talking about the marketing of the thing, is it that we operate whereby because we know we have it, we don't need to pay attention to it? It's like, all right, we know the CD. When last I go see to be it? You can't tell. Because what? It's because you have it in your mind that you know the CD and you could go anytime. You're just saying go decide, you're just saying go pay attention to it.
so
you know?
we're taking for granted the things that we have when other
Yeah.
people are seeing its worth.
Yeah.
And they are the ones marketing it in
Yeah.
such a way that when they hear it from other people and they may come to us to experience it, but we are not the ones marketing it.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah. So the thing is, now, well, added to that now, is it that there are, or there is a situation whereby, well, the first thing that I said before, and are we, what is it, I'm trying to say something careful.
We don't give a sip though.
Yeah, but we don't give us it, get into trouble.
Take your time, brother. Take your
Right,
time.
but in regards to what we would have seen, and when I say seen, based on what we know, what we would have established, what we would have done, and as Nats was saying, people come and market our elements, right? As we use, for example, the Grenada marketing jab. We're seeing Trinidad tend to market pretty mass a lot. So look, we see now, okay, where Tobago now fit into the whole conversation in regards to
You know where
brand that
you know where
kind of
Tobago fit in?
where?
It have no other place in the world that people just play in mud.
Oh shucks.
It have what, repeat?
No
No.
other place in the world that people just play in
No,
mud.
you're right. Natisha last week was talking about that too. We never branded mud.
Okay.
No, don't say that. We branded mud.
No, we branded mud.
No, listen. There are people that have the idea of mud, in a professional way. Big up modern mud. You know modern mud?
Yeah.
Right. They Selassie and them fellas.
Yeah, from back.
I respect them fellas. Why? Because these fellas
Bagatelle.
take the mud. Yeah, Bagatelle.
Yeah.
These fellas take the mud and create it into something that they can market.
Okay.
Yeah,
You understand? Which is
yeah.
something
Yeah.
very
Yeah,
hard to
yeah.
do. Is mud.
Yeah.
How the hell you could market mud?
Yeah.
You have to understand?
No,
And these
for
fellas selling buckets and
Yeah.
however much of mud all over the world. If you
Yeah,
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we have opportunities, not that we don't have things.
Right.
We have the things to put out there.
Yeah.
What we need to do is focus on, all right, we have tourism. Like I was telling you earlier while we were having the conversation. We have a lot of things that in Tobago that with the fiddler, mud, people with mud on their face because
Right.
we have mud on mud. Artists who singing reggae, who singing soca, who
Yeah.
singing this. You understand? It have drinks. It have people that doing
Yeah.
food
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
that we could market in a professional way
Yeah.
and have the outside look at us. For example, Barcode. I just calling
Yeah.
somebody as random because Barcode is an established place.
Yeah.
Barcode have some nice wings. People supposed to know wherever the hell they come from. I don't mean to say it like that,
you can
but
say
wherever
that,
they come
yeah.
from, they're supposed to know that when they come into Tobago, they're going to Barcode
Back with
for
us a
wings.
nice.
Yeah. Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Understand
And they know that every Saturday, Casper the Lyrical, who they know is an artist because they hear his music when they come, they land on the airport, they hear his music.
Yeah.
When they know that Casper does host Saturday Night Live in Barcode.
Right.
So they're making sure that when they land here, they're going to Barcode on a Saturday night.
Right.
If you understand what
I
I'm
get what you're
saying,
saying. I get what you're saying.
I'm just saying for ourselves. But
Yeah.
it have things that we could market
market. Yeah.
more
Yeah.
than just it have DJs.
Yeah.
3D.
Mhm,
3D is a very good DJ.
Yeah.
If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you come off the plane, big poster,
Poster. Right.
3D.
Right.
King Legal,
Yeah.
this one,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
one. So that when they come here, they know that all right, we leave here, we know we meet 3D, we meet Creed,
Yeah.
we meet
Yeah.
the Ream.
Yeah.
We meet, even if they meet we personally, they meet we as in they meet we
Mhm.
craft, we music.
Yeah.
They meet the mud men
Yeah.
because they're coming in time
They
for
come
carnival.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You
So
understand?
we,
Yeah,
we
also-
could use the elements.
Yeah, I also
elements,
think we
yeah.
probably need to upgrade our method of marketing.
Good.
Yeah.
Because
I
even
agree.
if we market, you hear people go
I
say, I
feel-
come in Tobago for crab and dumpling. But then, okay, you come, you had to ask Tom, Dick, Harry, Jane.
Where again?
Where
crab
again
and
crab and
Where you getting crab and dumpling from?
You don't.
Tobago
That's
is
so
so
real.
big that gonna tell you it's quite northeast of something
No,
or
that's
the
so
ridge
real.
somewhere
Yeah.
there. It's like our marketing strategy
the
needs
most
to
I could
change.
say is Toby.
No, and
And the
that's
thing
so
is,
real.
if the person in Tobago not consistent, you go
Consistent,
down there and
yeah.
you ain't getting
You
no
ain't get
crab
crab
and
and
Just
dumpling.
now, just
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I in a taxi going to work in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I talk him at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
A man now come up from Trinidad, he on the boat, or me I know where he come from.
Yeah.
But he in the car with me.
Mm-hmm.
And he asking now where he could go and get a nice crab and dumpling in Tobago.
Mm-hmm.
Me now, I shame.
Yes, because of what you're going to tell them.
Because I can't say, well,
Yeah.
go Storby.
Yeah.
Because I see a video the other day that says Storby
Yeah.
crab sauce along.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? You understand? So I shame. I can't even say go Storby.
Yeah.
I tell him go buy crusty crab.
Yeah.
That
And
can't be the
crab
only avenue,
expensive.
man.
Yeah.
You understand? I ain't saying
Yeah. Yeah.
that
I
to
get
do.
what you're saying. I get what you're
But
saying.
if it is we really want to, we just market crab and dumpling. People know when they come to Tobago,
It's
you
crab and
must
dumpling,
get crab and dumpling with some
Exactly.
provision.
Exactly.
You must get
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
What's
No,
that thing that used to be spinning in that big metal
copper?
pot there? Yeah.
in the copper foreign.
For real,
Oh,
thing.
you.
Hello.
No long me and say
They
fine.
even marketing
I want
these
to
things.
foreign.
But they were trying to show
No,
you
but
because
I seen them, but it's like people not even buying the thing and
they
then
don't know about
They
they don't know
that.
how
Yeah.
to use it.
When the
and
last time you
then-
see chili, baby?
Oh Lord.
I ashamed to ask which you.
Oh, you see how they understand?
Oh gosh.
You were showing you like corn they used to mash up with milk and all kind of things. Used to
Oh,
taste
no, you call
nice.
sham sham?
Well, that is what it's called, sham sham.
sham,
Yes.
yeah.
Right.
Yes.
That no
Okay,
Lord.
no, yeah, all I said no, all I said
No,
some
our
serious-
children don't know nothing
Yeah.
about them things.
small thing. You go back.
Nothing.
Yeah. No, let me tell you something. No, and that we go get back to that with the children passing on the legacy. Right. No.
Because I want to read some comments and something quick.
Yeah. Me Mr. Andy was talking on phone and thing, and he said if you realize and you use Jamaica as the example, and I like how we end up going on this road. Because we're still talking about intellectual property. Talking about what we own and what we can market. Right? Anytime Jamaicans go out, they always market marijuana. Check it. When they check the branding, they branded marijuana. Right? To the point where Junior Grong buy a place, I think it's in Florida. It's Florida? Yeah, I think it's in Florida. A prison.
Yeah.
And he have a whole where he cultivate marijuana, turn it into oils, medication, thing, and whatever the case may be. So that way that's his business, right? So with every time the music comes out, the music was associated with something else.
Yeah.
That speaks to Jamaica. This is what we know how to kind of fit. No, you talk about it some episodes ago, including the bongos and the fiddle and into the music.
Yeah, include more of our culture into
And
Just
then
know it. Just know it. My pause now raised it because it's something very serious there.
yeah.
No, I don't want to think, but I don't think the fiddles and the thing and the thing, that ain't gonna be enough,
No, ain't gonna be enough. We have to associate. We still have to bring something.
Just to understand what I'm saying. Jamaica is marketing themselves
Right.
using what?
Marijuana.
One of the most used herbs
on
in
island,
the
yeah.
world.
In the world.
Okay.
See
Well,
island?
right. Well,
Can I see world?
You understand?
Yeah.
It's a place is dedicated to weed alone. Understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a no place dedicated to no fiddler.
Alright.
No, I know. I just don't understand where I'm coming from as in importance now.
Yeah.
So what I don't know. I think the best thing we gotta deal with is mud, boy. The artists and mud. Because
Even though we put I tell you, I am already thinking, right, mentally putting things in place for where my music is concerned. Beside the fiddle, beside the bongos or the what's called the tambourine and whatever the case may be, I'm thinking of even putting the elements of what our culture is into the music.
It's a start.
Into the music. You understand? So even though I'm singing about, quite like to sing about freedom and freedom of the mind and whatever the case may be, I could still put that into put those elements within my music. You understand? Because really and truly, if you check it, the music is like, I don't know if it's like a trend or it's some reason it go further when it associates with something to your culture.
true.
Well,
For some reason, I just seen it like that because
because it's able to present it better because it comes from someplace known and someplace that you could
know.
you feel that you could connect to that.
God,
But if you can't connect to something, you wouldn't sell it as,
Makes sense.
And then you gotta have that kind of support too.
Exactly.
Correct.
Because if everybody, well, not everybody, because not everybody into culture, but if you have at least 40,000 people out of 60,000 people, that's a good back in then.
Yeah.
That is a strange thing. Not everybody into culture.
Let me see. I see
Let me be
Alan
real.
saying Tobago
This is the
still
comment.
holding on to its big sister's Trinidad skirts, wanting to let go, but afraid we have not yet gotten our own identity, especially when coming to Carnival. I could agree to that to some extent.
I agree.
Tobago's Carnival is a close copy to Trinidad's, not really showcasing Tobago culture, but copying from Trinidad.
Ooh.
I could also, to some extent,
Not to a
agree
great
with that.
extent. We see that.
Right. Dane was saying you're doing some marketing right there based on what he was talking about. He said the reason for some of the inconsistencies could be low turnover, probably on the island, where we were
What do you
talking
mean?
about the crab and dumpling. Like, they're not getting it sell or something, but listen to me,
What?
guys, embarrassing then.
No. You can't be talking that every
No, he
single.
said
listen to
maybe,
me.
yeah, he ain't
Listen,
sure. He said maybe.
Wait. Just now, before I continue. Actually, no matter what time I go Trinidad, I just want roti. Actually, Sunday morning, if it's Sunday morning, we coming up on the plane. Actually, I don't be like, I'm feeling for a roti because I feel.
If I
and
don't
in the
live,
home
I
a
have
roti,
to find a roti.
you know, because I feel that in the home a roti, I have to get a roti. So I'm looking for Hussein.
Yeah.
So I could already name
So good.
I could get a roti from.
Good.
You
I
understand?
understand you.
So that's the same thing we're
If you
talking
have to
about.
go Trinidad and they said doubles, there are several places you could go off the
Good.
back.
Well, you see, this
And we
is the
start copying that
problem. This is the problem. It have no regulation of nothing.
Yeah.
Not everything is just
we
eat
have
a food. Like I said in the last podcast, the last time.
Yeah.
Everybody have a mentality. We go eat a food.
Yeah.
And we don't. Let me tell you something. You know what? Sell things. Customer service.
Correct.
You know what Tobago lack the most in the entire world?
Let me say it. Customer service.
You understand what I'm saying? Listen to me. I'm going to call up no establishment. But I going couple establishments. And the attitude from the people that are dealing with make me feel like by spending my money like I begging for I come for.
No, hey.
Yep.
Let me tell you something.
That happened to me recently.
We have a
Yeah,
mentality, we
shake my
buy
head.
off of desperation. We just spend off of desperation. So in other words now, let's say you go buy a certain hardware, right? And you go buy that hardware there, and based on the sales rep, whatever the case may be, it's like when you go there and think they huggish there, whatever the case may be, and whatnot. And it's like, you have to spend the money here.
Yeah.
You know that kind of thing? And it's like you have no other choice. So
It's like-
when we operate, when we have been operating so for years, real businessmen in Tobago, right, really believe, like I went by a parts place, right, to get a price, to get a block on head. That when I have the G2G. And I go on there for, I say, how much should I block on it? Because I know the man. So I meet him away from his place. He was in another establishment. I said, brother, well, I know him. So I said, you have any QG 18 block and head thing? You watch me. You have to watch me up and down. You must see how to size me up, all kind of thing before you could answer the question. Right? He say, yeah, I had that and thing. No way of selling me. If I come and ask you a question pertaining to what you have as a product,
Boy.
you don't know how to sell that to me, boy. You are to size me up before you could even say give me a price. And like you don't even want to give me the price.
And you see, there's a difference after the seas sometimes within the two islands. Because the sea, if you go to buy that in Trinidad, you leave it there with that and something else and something else free. Just for buying that.
Boy, that's
Listen to
ridiculous.
me.
Way boy.
And before I know we're talking about intellectual property but before we get down to all of these things, honestly, we need to deal with these simple things first.
Yeah.
Because we can't be selling nothing from no place that when the people come to this place, because alright, Creed is a big artist, the world want to see Creed. They want to see where Creed come from.
Yeah.
When they come here and they go in KFC, oh God, sorry, I call up a name. But when they come here and they go in certain establishments
Yeah.
and the attitude that they have to
Yeah. They got turn off on everything else.
But this is my point.
Yeah. It's
No,
true,
them going
it's
to
true,
light you
it's
up
true,
on
it's
social
true,
media and thing.
It's true.
Because
No.
said establishments, I went inside the recent. I don't go in there. Period.
Because
I do not.
No.
I went in there to get something,
Yeah.
and you know they have the line and the system and whatnot, and who come in first and whatever. So I
Who them
see
there?
about 3 people going in front of me, and I stand up the long time, walk up to the lady nicely. I said, do you remember that I have an order? I see a lot of people coming and leaving, and I'm still here. Oh, you order so by so? I said, yes, I had to make it. I said, so you're still doing it in front here? If you had to make it, the woman, she roll up, she go on in the back, and when she comes, she rests it on the counter and she fling the bag. So the lady next to me watching me like, and we'll still come back here, right? I said, but I don't come here, period. It's the first time I come in here just to get something for somebody, and these I had to meet up with.
You understand?
Yeah. No, the thing is it now, from a government perspective, one of the things that they're losing with in regards to where tourism is concerned, let me say why they're losing, because we have been seeing it over the years, is because of the fact that we don't take time to deal with the ground. Because let's be realistic, the tourists don't come and reach the government.
True.
Let me catch that. The government is the people.
Right.
So really and truly, they reach the government. They
Right,
reach the
but they
attitude
don't-
of the government. But the
don't
leaders,
right.
They
They
don't
don't
reach
meet the
the
leaders,
leaders.
correct, yeah.
So the thing is it now, we all are leaders within our own right, within our own space, right? And when you have the man who is on the street, can even tell you where fucking George is. Who can even tell you where the fort down behind by Crown Point Beach Hotel lay, right? You can't give no directions to river, right? Agai Waterfall is one of the what is it, the loudest, oldest,
the most known supposed
or
to be.
most known on the island. You can't even direct them to that. So when it comes to the education of the people on the ground, we still in ignorance in regards to our own island is concerned.
Okay, but you think it come down to just education? It don't come down to just education, it come down to interest.
True.
Because let me be real. Long time. You ask anybody about any place in Tobago and they gotta tell you the whole history.
Yeah.
Anybody.
It's true.
You understand?
It's true.
I could still go and ask some old people in Lescato. Even just about some bush. They come and they show you come and bring a book, or they tell you this bush was good for this and that, and you rub it and you
But
take
we
it.
have folk songs with them bush.
Well, this is it.
We're not singing those things.
But for today, when you look at the interest in these things, we don't have that interest no more. Because you ask any youth man, just walk out on the road and ask a youth man, what bush you could use for this?
Yeah.
Can't tell you.
Yeah.
You go and tell her a tablet.
Okay, you understand where I'm coming
Tell her
from?
something from the pharmacy.
So they don't have the interest in culture like that now, but they don't have interest in telling nobody because to them comfortable
No,
is 60,000 people here, you
No,
know.
this is the second time I said that, and I'm trying to figure because I need to get understanding of what that is called. How can you not be of culture?
Because this is 22.
If
Just
it
now.
is,
You're born here.
yeah, but okay, for us, we have children coming up. How much of what was taught to us that we could teach to them? coming up?
Exactly. No, just
That's
now,
where the problem is.
just now, as Africans, let me be real. If you know history about Africa, Africans never write things.
True.
We pass
we'll
things
pass
down
on based on
through
Songs.
songs and tales.
Stories.
You understand? How much are the tales we know about Anansi? The other day,
had a
Sharon was a
production,
part
yeah.
of something with some Anansi thing. We know about Anansi, which used to
Right.
give us the old people and them long time the different lessons. Name one Anansi story for me. Just the name. Anansi and the war.
Me can't remember.
This is my point.
Me can't
And your
remember.
children supposed to know Anansi
Yeah.
because Anansi is culture. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not that we purposefully want to let some people purposefully want to let it go, but we never hone it enough. We never culture it enough to for people to care about it.
Yeah.
If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand.
So for me now, I 30 years old. Me don't know nothing about no culture. I never grew up in going no heritage,
Yeah.
and them I grew up in church.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know about going church.
Yeah.
Me know not no heritage.
Yeah.
So me as a big man now outside here in the free world, if you want to call it that,
Yeah.
I now trying to learn culture, and it's still hard, difficult to get the
Difficult to
Yes,
get
information
yes,
Yeah.
correct.
because nobody really have the information. The people who had it dying out.
Because I would have known about some of these stories and things from going
I
to
know- I
Heritage
know those
when
things
you
in-
used
yeah.
to do the broadcasting, and we go and we listen to some, and in my mind I was like, these things are real, and you realize
Alright.
that
Yeah. You realize that Tobago full of bacchanal.
Well, yes.
all of that too, we
No,
know
well,
for that
that is
too.
part of this.
That is part of the culture. They
Yeah.
sit down outside on the scrubbing board and you're listening to
Yeah.
your neighbor and your whatever. People
No.
don't even know where's a scrubbing board.
No,
right?
you see, no, that what I'm saying now, that in regards to picking certain things, there are certain things that we could really truly market. Now, we talk about marketing, and I figure people still do not have a broad understanding of what marketing is. And we're thinking because we pay for some ads on Facebook or on a radio, we just okay, they will leave it there and let it run, and that is marketing. No. Marketing is basically taking an interest, an in-depth interest into who is looking at that product or item.
Yeah.
You understand? So the thing is it now, if for instance we talk about the IP and my music out on Spotify or YouTube or whatever the case may be, or even Facebook, I have to go through the analytics to see as to who is listening my music.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You understand? What age group?
Yeah.
If it's woman, if it's man, if it's whatever.
gender.
You understand? What gender is actually
Mhm.
focused on my music. So then now I could able to pilot, right, my music or even serve ad towards those individuals.
Yeah.
You understand? And I figure we lose a lot of that, because I remember when I used to do sales in Tambourine, right? Selling commercials, selling ads and things.
Yeah.
And I used to go back in it. Why you need that for? Is Tobago. Everybody word of mouth, people go know that. I said, well, no, you have to understand the aspects of what that is concerned. I said, what we could do for you is that we could let you know who is the individuals buying into your product or your item. You understand? Now, Tambourine doing that work there for you. They could give you that information, right? They could give you that information as to who listen and the time, the times that thing, because they have a survey, right? They give a survey that will come from telecommunication, and that is where they end up and rank the radio station as the number 1 or number 2 or whatever the case may be. So from telecommunications, could be able to get that information as to what, right? So the thing is, now I believe that we do not have an understanding, and I'm talking about the establishment, like how you say the guy come and want crab and dumpling. People thinking because you're a small restaurant and you're selling crab and you figure you don't need to advertise because you think you're small. I see this happen already. You understand? You go by your establishment and you tell them we'll advertise on the radio. Even if we don't advertise on the radio, when social media come in, take advantage of the social media. Post up your food on social media. Then you do an ad and see how many people gonna gravitate to it, and then watch if those individuals turn into buying into individuals.
Right.
You understand? And see how many people would have come to your establishment by you placing an ad on the social media or on radio or whatever the case may be. So I believe there's a misconception or there's a misunderstanding between the advertising and the marketing.
And
You know?
probably
I agree.
education too about marketing, because you have to sometimes it's not necessarily about spending money, but it's also part of it, because you can market your stuff without spending money because of the things available to us now to do our own marketing. But even so, if you have to spend money, you have to spend money to make money. So it's not about trying to play cheap and talking about you just want, you know.
If you say I spend money to make money, you can actually tie into the same thing. I cannot ask and answer my question. Because I was kind of saying how it ties into an artist producing his music. So obviously you have to spend money to go into the studio, pay for producer, pay musicians, whatever the case may be, in regards to where that is concerned.
Then correcting me, tell me joking board. Not talking about scrubbing board.
But we used to say scrubbing board too.
Well, long
Joking
time
board,
it's
yeah,
joking
scrubbing board. And then you talk about the river with your bungalow.
He said, I remember my bro got injured and my dad boarded the boat to come to Tobago. Right? So he boarded the boat to come to Tobago to visit someone to put back my bro knee back in place. The old lady rubber and popped it into place. He said, where that gone?
So we used to call it bullshit. But you say put knee back into
Well,
place.
it's several
put knee,
things.
yeah.
So bullshit is one of
No.
them.
That whoop me where we don't man.
Yeah, well, and we still don't even know what is the bullshit.
Well, some people don't know what
We
it's
still
bullshit.
don't know what is bullshit. But I hear there are old people within the village, right? In Roxbury, you had a old lady used to do that. And push up back something or whatever the case. I do not know. I never
And they
know
say
what
bullshit
mean
drop?
bullshit.
And they want to
So-
rub it and push it back.
So there, as I would say, culturally there are certain things, certain traditions,
we
and certain
lost.
things that we lose along the way.
Yeah.
One of the things that I really believe in that there were certain things that would have in history would have basically for example. And the things that will, for example, we take them and make them and turn them into traditions. We trade with them and we turn them into traditions.
I think you turn the wrong things into traditions.
We took the
We've been
wrong
saying
things.
this. We've been
You understand?
saying this, yes.
Because let me be realistic about something. Bartering. There's a Tobago culture from way back when.
Yeah.
If you have a hang a green fig, I have planting, okay, I ain't gonna eat green food all my life. I ain't gonna eat planting all my life. Okay, well, you give me a hand of green fig, I go give you a hand of planting. And it's so we used to trade that way. It was so easy to walk in a Uncle Fruit tree and pick out few mango and whatever the case may be. Right? Nowadays, no, is that as you pick out food, hey, want me $5, want me $10.
Yeah.
You understand? So the thing is, we become a eat a food society, as we said before, whereby everything is to eat a food, and we lose We lose the essence of with Tobago-ness, if I could say that. You understand? With
Yeah, that's
Tobago-ness.
because
brotherly
we-
love.
You
We're
understand?
leaning towards the Western philosophy, you see.
Exactly.
It's because we on the West.
And we destroying ourselves.
You understand? We in the West Indies, you know.
Yeah.
So we leaning towards what we know, what we think is the status quo.
Yeah.
You know that kind of.
Yeah.
When it is, if it is, we lean more to what we already knew that we kind of losing right now. Then we'll be in a better position because, for example, the pharmaceutical companies. For today, I want to put that as this male impotence. Nobody here knows suffer with that, but male impotence.
Except we boy.
I going on that with it. But that certain bush, Medina.
Yeah.
That's a bush.
Yeah.
Medina.
The other day, I go and drink some before I fly out the other time. I meet a man, he give me some bush. He say, boy, that Medina, drink some in that. I boil the thing and make a nice big bottle. I drink it 2 morning. When after I done drink it the 2 morning, I see what's going on with there. I say, you see me? If I drink a next one of this year, I have problems, I'll throw away the whole bottle. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's grass.
Yeah.
It's literal grass that is fine on the side of the road. You understand? I'm
I
suffering
need
with
to see
male
that.
impotence.
I need to
And
see
this grass on the
Yeah,
side of the road.
Yeah.
If you understand, a young girl, I meet a young girl, she had pancreatic cancer. I have a book called The Apothecary. Look up that book. I go look up within the book the herb that's supposed to deal with pancreatic cancer.
Right.
This young lady sent me a video of some black, I guess it's the cancer, with a set of mucus.
Right.
And she vomit all of that out. Along with blood.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying to you?
Okay.
She vomited all out. When she go back to the doctor, you know what the doctor telling she they
they-
can't find the cancer.
Oh, I
The
know.
one and watch. If you watch the tree, is a tree that look like glory cedar. You know that tree?
Yeah.
The tree is not glory cedar,
Not
but it
glory cedar.
look like glory cedar. I can't remember the name of the tree. They give the real name of the tree now. Something
I know you have a
carry
tree.
over whatever. He doesn't really study.
Yeah.
But if you understand what I'm saying now,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
ancestors, the people who come before we, they know these
tell you,
things.
you know these things, yeah.
So it's not like we don't have this information or this information was there. You understand? It's just that we forgetting this information to take up what they're giving us.
Right. Well, no,
Other
something.
few we selling mortar and pistol for joke.
All right.
Like something people have
what
was
you- yeah,
using
yeah.
long time.
Long time.
Now, the question I want to ask, and I hear it come up several times in the conversation about losing our identity. When did we lose our identity? Because it had to be a when.
Yeah, there's a when. Remember, we had to go back again.
Before we were born.
22 countries fight for we, you know.
Yeah.
So we don't really have an individual culture. Understand me? We have cultures from the Dutch. Even the names of the places
The
that we
places,
have.
right, yeah.
Lecato, that is French.
French,
I'm from Lecato. You understand? Scarborough, that is English. You understand what I'm saying? Plymouth, I guess, you know.
Okay.
Sawa, that is Spanish. You understand what I'm saying? So we have influence of all these people.
Right.
So
Land
we within
for me.
we our own self being Africans, yes, we have the African traditions,
Right.
but we had influence from these other people.
Yeah.
So to say that we have we own identity as per se, like Tobago is this, but here the heights. The nice thing about all of that is that because 22 countries fight for we, and we have cultures or we have that integration from other cultures or however much 22 of them, that mean the music or whatever we decide to create would have elements that could market
Market.
to
Into
all
any
these
country,
cultures.
yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
But here what it is we need to do, find the key. You understand? Because it have a key, you know.
Yeah.
And as long as we find that key, I believe every artist in Tobago along
Bust
that
out.
lines they must. Because it's everybody fight for we, you know.
Yeah.
You understand?
Okay, sure saying.
And that is very interesting to note in trying to find out clearly who we are as a
True,
people
true.
because we are multifaceted island. We
Correct.
have many
No,
cultures.
I mean, we
and-
asking the hard questions. No, we ask the when. No, how we getting that? How we finding that identity?
Yeah, that is the hard
you
part.
really asking the hard questions.
That is the hard part.
No,
in
because
it.
asking the question that people would ask out there.
No, that is the hard
How,
part.
how we gonna find the identity?
Hmm.
As the artists now, as no, not even just artists, as the creatives,
Mhm.
what I think we need to do is go back. You can't know where you're coming from. You can't know where you're going if you don't know where you're coming from.
Correct.
And the problem is, I think we don't know where the hell we come from.
That is the truth.
You understand?
We have a lot of mills and things that rusty all over the place.
You
People don't
understand?
even know the history of what happened here on this piece of land right here where all these mills are that we taking pictures of the piece of the wheel and
Let me
what.
show you how serious this thing is.
Mhm.
You know that your great grandfather
Mhm.
was a slave?
Yep.
How much
I never
generations
knew
is that?
That is true.
Yes, no. Your great grandfather is your father.
So that's two generations.
So that is
Two
two generations
generations, right.
before your
Mhm.
father.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So only 2 generations ago,
Mhm.
your family
yeah,
was in slavery.
I started
And
doing
that
some
is not
history during course
very
of
long.
during the course of COVID to figure out where Argyle, the history of Argyle, the
Mm.
name where the name came from. Because we saw a tomb
Mm.
in Argyle. That is the second waterfall,
Mm, mm,
right? That is in Lamy Road.
mm.
And when we went, I carried them to show them the second waterfall because we found it by accident.
Mm.
We did not know it was there. When we was around 16, 17, we were going to cut bamboo.
Mm.
And we end up by the waterfall. We did not know it was existing. We just go up there and we see it. It's just the place. Pretty.
Mm, mm,
You have
mm.
like them river flowers, them red.
Mm.
I don't know what to call them. I don't know if it's lilies or whatever they call some nice thing wrong the pond and thing. And thing is very pretty. When we going through during COVID now, when we went up further than the waterfall, we seen like bridges. Like where slaves and things would have built and things. So that kind of compelled me to do some history and thing. And I realized that from Kendall Bridge
Mm.
to Louisdor, what we will call Betsy So Community Center, which kind of like going into Louisdor,
Mm.
is a whole plantation.
Hmm.
All those villages between Kendall Bridge and Louisdor is one man plantation. And he
look how big
tomb-
that is.
And his tomb is in Argyle. Right? I could carry where the tomb is right in
Mm.
So I started it's some William something.
I can't remember the name.
Some William something.
But I was in
And
awe
he-
when I saw
and
that.
yeah, and they own
Hmm.
that whole they own a family and they're not from here.
Hmm.
They're not from Trinidad and
Yeah.
Tobago. They were English.
Hmm.
Right? They were English. So the thing is it now we see whereby there were influx of slave ships. There were aspects of where they would have bought slaves
Yes, yes.
to Tobago and from there that is how Tobago start to come forward and generation after generation after generation and thing. So by that now you get me to understand, okay, we are African centric people. Right? Because I just was trying to figure out what tribe I belong to. But the thing is now, the name that I have not even serve mine. You understand?
You know you can't find out that
And I
according.
can't-
No, you
exactly.
can't. You have to find out that. You have to find out that according to your feet, yes. Like me, I know I Somalian. You know why I know I
Yeah.
Somalian? Because Somalian people, I short people with
Right.
small noses and they tend to be very good looking.
You're kind of not good looking.
That's your mouth. No, but it's true.
Interesting,
Yeah,
interesting.
You understand?
My features.
Yeah, you have to know your features because, and then here the heights. When you dance, you just move a certain part of your body.
Yeah.
Some people just dance with their head. Some tribes just dance with their head. Some just dance with their neck.
I don't
Some
do that.
just dance with their shoulders. Some just dance with their waist.
Yeah.
Some just dance with their feet.
Yeah.
According to your tribe, it's how we just dance because that ingrained in
Like
you.
ingredient, yeah. Well, obviously we know
You
that
understand?
in the DNA. Yeah. Yeah.
So according to how you move, sometimes you might go and see. Sometimes you see people think and they're doing this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
because that's the tribe they're
Tribe.
from. Some people could jump and they could real jump. There is Philosha. You understand? Because they could real jump.
could jump, yeah.
You know the tribe that does do the jumping and the.
Yeah, with that, yeah, I know
Right.
you're talking about. I know
So
you're talking about.
you
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying?
Okay. All right.
I saw you have to know
Wow.
your tribe, not you,
So
and
ba-
probably blood.
By
Go and do a blood
but
test.
we don't, but we don't do ancestry blood thing here.
Not here, but you could probably find out somewhere else.
Somewhere else.
You know.
Okay. Well, again, I was looking at the how we could able to find our identity in regards to that. Now, again, my thought go sorry, may her soul rest in peace. I got to say we might have to go and talk to Kenneth Bob. Or Miss John.
Talk to Mr. Solo.
All
No,
of that
but
too.
that is a good thing, you know, saying
Yeah.
there, you know.
Yeah.
We need to have
Yeah, we need
conversations
to have conversations
with the people
Yeah.
who
But
probably
wouldn't-
still alive.
Yeah, wouldn't they might be just going back into when Tobago was Tobago and not further than that?
No, well, here the heights.
Mhm.
This is actually what we're looking at.
Mhm.
Because, all right, let me say we're having a conversation with Granny,
Mhm.
and Granny cannot tell you about how she was on the plantation and they
Right.
used to mash the cocoa
Mhm.
to make tea and thing and
Mhm.
thing. That is inspiration in itself.
Right.
Number one, you're learning how to make cocoa the right way.
Mhm.
You understand?
Mhm.
Two, you're writing a song. It have a dance they used to do for the cocoa.
Yeah,
You understand? You're writing a song. We have we call this in social media for today. The
Mhm.
cocoa dance could go viral.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Mhm.
It have a lot of different things just by having that one conversation that we
Yeah.
could make happen. Just by gaining the knowledge
Mhm.
from the people who had it before we know
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Because like we're saying, all these things naturally ingrained in us,
In
you
us.
know. We already have it. Everything that we know already
Mhm.
in us is DNA.
Right.
You understand? We ancestors used to do it. That means
Mhm.
we have it in we.
Okay.
So
okay.
it's only for we to unlock it.
Most of my
And-
family came from Grenada. Well, I'm talking about from my mother's side,
Mm.
and I know that for sure. Cause my great grandmother was Grenadian.
But they must have
Hardcore
saved too.
Grenadian, Yeah.
They must live too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Well, it was the whole Atlantic trade. Them
Go,
came in
but
the
this is
Caribbean
it.
too. Yeah.
So everybody, and here the heights, you have a, in my opinion, you have an advantage.
Mhm.
Why? Because you have a different culture that you could ingrain in
Mhm.
the culture that you grow up in.
Mhm.
Because you always have to be Ghanaian.
Yeah.
It's not Grenadian.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm,
But
mhm.
you have Grenadian
roots
roots.
there.
Yeah.
So you could go back to Grenada
Mhm.
and learn something
Learn
from
something from
Grenada,
Grenada,
and you know that it will still
Mhm.
feel the same way
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Because
yeah.
we always
We
want
want
people, like we say.
Yeah.
In the, you
It's
understand?
true.
You
It's
see,
just a trace from there as to where we come from. Yeah.
But that's it.
some of the traditions and things that our forefathers and things and foreparents and things would have done. Some of these things kind of went out with technology. I want to be very careful.
You go say
as to how
technology?
I'm saying.
You go say technology?
What? So what is it?
I go
With
say
the-
Christianity.
Oh gosh,
Oh no, they went down that. No, well,
they're going down that whole day. Going down that road day.
you're right, and you're right. You're
Well,
right.
yeah.
You're right. Yes.
Yeah.
Because
Mm.
with the advancement of equipment and all
Mhm.
these things, certain things that we used to do that was our traditions, we don't do it anymore.
Mhm.
But that does not say that we should not know about it, because
True.
these things are things that are supposed to live on.
Mhm.
A culture moves with you.
Mhm.
True.
A culture, your culture doesn't necessarily change.
Mhm.
Certain things may evolve as
Mm.
time goes along, but your culture, it is standard. So that is where our identity is.
I agree.
Okay.
And seeing that we don't mash the cocoa or whatever, but we have times and periods where we do it just to show that this is where we come from. It
Mhm.
needs to be done more often
Often.
than
Mhm.
anything,
I agree.
in my
One
opinion.
person suggested that if we do more often, we gonna lose it. I don't
What?
know.
No, I'm just saying that if
yeah,
we do it
I'm
more
not just,
often,
I'm just quoting.
like for the
person.
ones that coming up after, they
Mm.
will ask questions. They would at least see. We
Mhm.
would have something to reference to. If we
Mhm.
don't have nothing to reference to, we just
Mhm.
moving from where we at here and going
Mhm.
forward, and we don't have a history.
Okay. Okay.
They say 10,000 hours.
Mm-hmm.
10,000 in order to master anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if we have people
Okay.
that are here mashing cocoa every day
Mm-hmm.
for 10,000 hours,
Mm-hmm.
let's say 100,000 hours every year,
Mm-hmm.
by the end of the first
Yeah,
year,
the whole of Tobago has
after
cocoa.
100,000 hours,
Mhm.
we have the best cocoa in the world.
Yeah, but one to the cocoa plantation. When last you went up the road and
But
watched that cocoa
this is
plantation.
it. We don't
and-
have nobody that want to put these skills into major processing because we think that doing these things, I guess, have us
So we importing cocoa? Jesus.
clearly we
Probably,
importing
yes.
cocoa. And listen to me, you know, and this is pure facts.
Mhm.
Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago, but Tobago
Mhm.
has the best cocoa
Yeah.
in the
In the
entire
Mhm.
world.
That is true. That is true. That is true.
The
Well,
best.
any bummy, eh.
No, no. It's not
Listen,
just
I live
Burmese.
in Lescotho.
Yeah.
Lescotho was a cocoa plantation the most. Cocoa and
Yeah, was
cotton.
cocoa, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anywhere you drive about in Lescotho, you must
Must
find a
find a
cocoa
cocoa
tree
tree.
with
Yeah.
And
cocoa on
Bucks
it.
Road
Yeah.
too had one of the biggest cocoa
Good, you
plantations.
understand
cocoa
what?
and
Yes,
cocoa,
because
yeah.
in the back so by the
By the
they call it
school.
by the school here.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a cocoa plantation too.
Plantation, yeah.
You know how much cocoa we have here, but
Mm.
people not taking the initiative.
Mhm.
It have some people that, let me say that nobody doing it. It have people that doing it and trying
Mhm.
to do it to the best.
Yeah.
But if it have some kind of structure,
Like
that
a
when people
industry,
come,
yeah, like a
people come
industry.
to Tobago,
Yeah. Yeah.
just like the I guess in, I don't know what other place, Swiss, in the Swiss Alps.
Mhm.
You know, there's make chocolate there too.
Okay.
You know that you could go and
Yes, Swiss
learn to
chocolate, I know
make
about that, yeah.
chocolate in the Swiss Alps. You know
Okay.
that you could become a chocolatier in the Swiss Alps.
All right.
You understand? And the Swiss Alps doesn't have chocolate to the quality of Tobago chocolate. Marshall Montano
Yeah,
for
yeah.
today
Yeah, he
is
did
a
that.
chocolatier,
Mhm.
making millions of dollars on
Yeah.
chocolate.
On
And from
chocolate.
what I hear,
Mhm.
I don't
Have a
mean to
chocolate.
bash the man,
Mhm.
but your chocolate and all are good.
Yeah, you're a chocolate. It's true.
Understand me
Yeah,
now?
yeah, yeah, it's true. Yeah, you're saying true. Yeah.
Wow.
You're saying true. So we lose. Again, it comes back to the identity conversation. And I figure if we really own up to that, and really truly own up to that, we could be able to move forward.
Go, and no, we
And in
coming
every
back to
aspect.
intellectual property. Yeah?
Yeah,
Mhm.
because
This
I was
is
gonna
where-
type back in.
Mhm.
We gonna have the
Mhm.
intellectual property making sense.
Making sense.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Because
yeah.
we could have intellectual. I have songs. You have
Yeah,
songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
People have songs.
Yeah.
People have movies,
Mhm,
videos.
mhm.
People have intellect.
Yeah.
No shortage of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But for it to make sense
Sense,
now
yeah.
in the real
Yeah,
world,
in
what
the
what we
understanding,
marketing?
Mm-hmm. And it kind of comes back not just with the music alone, and I'm talking about in the niche of Tobago, right? But in the general sense of what, as you mentioned, Marshall and them trying to push the soca, and for the soca to be identified as a genre. And I remember one person making a statement saying at all that one, it's not relatable to the world, right? Because they were saying that it sounds like noise, right? It's like noise in their ear, right? And they did a somewhat like them kind of review where it would play certain music and they would tell them what you think about what you're hearing or where. And they did that with soca. And a lot of the individuals, which was from foreign land, was saying at all there is noise. They like the Caribbean beat and thing, and the most thing you could say is song like palm trees and sea, and they always refer to the Hawaii type of vibe in regards to when they hear soca, but cannot put an identity towards it. Now, it comes back to the identity situation conversation again. We have a situation whereby you want to do something by yourself and you carry your own identity as to what your music should sound like and what it should feel like, however the case may be. Nat's go do the same thing, I go do the same thing, but you're still be coming from the one place. It comes along the line where I talk about Christianity. Yeah, the Adventist, the Pentecostal, the Anglican, all of them using the same Bible, but you still none of them can agree. But they're using the one book.
True.
They only about the one Jesus, but just still none of them cannot agree. So that kind of confuses the people who outside now looking in.
Yeah.
Because you could sure go,
India is the first place on my mind.
right, but
They
before,
cannot mix up the culture of India.
exactly,
No way.
nowhere,
In song,
True.
in dress,
in
in
True,
instruments,
nowhere,
in speaking,
True,
in
true.
nothing.
nowhere. Even serving, I was going and say, is New Orleans. right? I just follow this band, Bangers and something, right? They're a band from out of New Orleans. And if you hear the song, the sound, the song in the music, you say, yo, you have to come from New Orleans. You're hearing the sax, you're hearing the trumpet, you understand? You're getting all the element of their culture in their music.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, here what? You still want a song pop,
Yeah.
but you still come from Trinidad and Tobago. You want a song, what you call it? You want a song, what you call it? The music in hip hop.
Hip hop, yeah.
Hip hop, but you still come from Tobago. You understand? So the thing is it now, I don't mind we do different genres of music, but at least let we put our identity, our element of what created our culture, what are part of our culture, and bring that song out.
No, this
And I
is where we
figure
disagree. Yeah.
that might be the problem.
We disagree here because me personally, I'm a creator. I don't mean it like in no kind of way, but I don't really like soca music. Soca music is a happy music.
Yeah.
I'm not generally a happy guy. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not nothing against soca music. It's just me personally. I'm not
Yeah.
very a happy guy. So I don't really like all that. No, I don't deserve no party. I want to be inside in my house. You understand? So it's not that. So I think we should leave space for just being creative now. Being able to create music, but like I say, to have the elements of our culture involved. So it's not to say, all right, we creating soca only, because if we put ourselves in that, then me and you create, we in problems. Because I don't know soca man. You want to go and wind up on no stage and you understand, like Mr. Killer. I don't want that kind of energy. You understand?
Yeah.
So me, I like to smoke my weed and reggae idols do.
Yeah.
You understand?
No, well, we on that same. We on that
You
same.
understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
But
Yeah.
if it is we add, let me say, some kete drum or some. I want to say fiddle because I don't see how the fiddle could fit in the reggae. But
You may be surprised.
then again, you understand?
Yeah,
But fiddle or bongo or whatever we decide
Tambourine,
to add, you understand?
Yeah.
That go have that effect now as Tobago.
Yeah.
Then,
Even self, it could be our language that we know.
The way we speak.
This way we speak, right?
Because you can tell a Tobago in any way.
Exactly.
We attack and when we talk a kind of way.
Although we have different variations of
Don't
it.
there. You understand?
No,
Over the
it's
song.
it's honestly one of the things that we could really tap into, and it may look minute, it may look small, but low be realistic. Jamaica, you know, Jamaican anyway.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And this
Anyway,
is the thing with Jamaica,
yeah.
you know, this is why you can't.
Yeah.
You cannot vex with Jamaicans because no matter where you go in the entire world, a Jamaican will never try to be nothing else but a Jamaican.
Yeah.
Correct, is right.
You
And
understand?
that's why
That's
when
true.
people come
Till-
to visit your space, they're coming to see
What?
you and what you have.
Still in the UK, even the UK people want to be Jamaicans
Jamaicans.
now
It's true.
because
It's true. It's
drill
true.
music
Mhm.
is Caribbean influence mostly by
Mhm.
Jamaicans.
Jamaicans.
You understand?
See?
Your blood clot.
Yeah.
First time I hear UK man say that, I laugh, I roll. 'Cause I want to know what you doing.
Yeah.
It's a mad man.
I don't know, there's always anything with in it.
Oh, I understand. You understand?
So it's true.
So
Yeah.
the thing's so infectious when you know yourself now. That other people don't want to be you.
And
That
we
is
would
the
have,
thing.
alright, before we close, right? And we're coming down to our close. One of the things that we would have experienced during the course of the Carnival last year, right? When some of our local artists would have gone stage, you know, Gracie stage and thing, and one of the things is that we tried was to, I hit as much at the fest where the local Tobago artists, well, not local, I don't like to use the word local again. The Tobago artist was present, right?
Oh, South local.
And, you know, at one point in time, you know, And I would have messaged us and say, hey, I gotta do that CD earlier because it was at we was in Comforting, but we never missed a Comforting. And we went to the new one, Nirvana.
Right.
So she sang in Nirvana and she sang in Comforting. So whenever she show up, we was up in front and we supporting and things. And I genuinely support Tobago artists. Genuine. If you know my history, I always a genuine supporter of Tobago talent.
Yes.
So when they had that drive and that realness coming to them, and these are individuals who really truly, that is most likely, most times the soca artists, they look for the person to jump and wave. They're looking for the person to wave their hand and thing. And one of the things I tend to beat you where that is concerned, now this is me, I don't look for it. When I go on stage, I don't look for you to jump and wave, knowing that always is reggae. I singing, yes, but I'm not looking for that reaction. Because at the end of the day, I want you to hear my story. I want to hear how genuine I am in regards to where my music is concerned so that you could be able to listen. Right? My target always is that, hey, I will sit down. The other time I went to a concert already and I tell everybody sit down. Don't get up. I don't want us to stand up or anything. I think that was the last gospel concert I sang in. After that, they tell you to come back.
Stop it.
I'm not sure that they, but I told her, I said, sit down. I just want all to hear what I had to say in music and thing. And you see now, when you do that, people tend to now take the direction of really truly listening. Because when you go with this soca music, you go based on, if you tell me to sing the most popular song, I might only hum it. But I can't sing it word for word. Because I hear him busy. You understand? He may song well, but I hearing it busy. But when you see, the only time you could really sing it word for word is if you have that in your car, and every time you go to work, you have that played over and over and over and over and over again. But then, if you tell me sing a reggae, I could bring up a Raging Fire I would fought with. Or a Junior Gong, a Junior Gong. You understand? And I go sing it off the bat. Because that song calls you to put yourself in a place where now you have to sit down and you have to take it in, you have to listen. You know?
I think, sorry, I apologize. But I think that come down to just who you are, boy.
Yeah.
Because let me be real. I would prefer to listen to reggae music than any other music in the whole entire world. You know?
And I also think with the culture of Tobago, I always say we are more attracted to a beat and a rhythm first before hearing the words.
The words, exactly.
The
That's
music
true.
first. To
That's
cause
true.
some kind of gyration or some kind of whatever. Once you get that and that intrigue, you will listen it again and again, and then the words get
That is
that. What I'm
true.
really saying?
Yeah, but Trinidad and Tobago has some influence in reggae music.
Yeah.
Actually, the people who create reggae music is Trinidadians.
Yeah.
I want to make it song, so but is it true?
Is the truth? Is the truth?
Yeah.
So we have some
guys.
we have some elements of our
What culture in the
our
reggae?
culture in the reggae. Yeah. So guys, hey, it was a nice one.
I mean, we ain't really touch on the IP.
No, we
too
touch
much
on it.
here, but
We touch
you
on
know,
it, but we touch on it from a different
Yeah,
perspective,
different
in
perspective.
in dealing with our
what we
country,
marketing, you know?
what we marketing.
Mhm.
You understand? So basically, we get into the, you know, as one person say, we on the right track of having the conversation, and we just hoping that we could able to continue, so we could able to really bring some action to what we say. You understand? Because we have been talking this some years ago, and as I said, I always use Shadow as an example. For years, Shadow have singing calypso and proper calypso, and it's only when he reach to when he reach with the judges and they tell them what's wrong with me in
What's wrong
2000,
with
that's the time he win a title. You understand? Until he asks the question, what's wrong with me? So I figure we still need to ask the question
What's
again.
wrong with me?
What's wrong with we? You
Yeah.
understand? What's wrong with us on this island
Yeah,
that we
yeah.
cannot really maximize
wrong
on the
with
things
we?
that we have? Because we
Yeah.
can't say we productless. We have plenty.
Yeah, well,
You
what?
understand?
Sorry, last time I talking.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go and take in the conversation that they had the other day, the stakeholders meeting.
Oh, I saw some clips
With,
on it.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think we have a couple clips
Yeah,
on it.
yeah.
But there's one specifically, I think it's number 12
Mhm.
with Eric. Is Elvis
Oh,
Rajman.
that's the one I was watching. No.
you
No,
you watch
no,
it?
no. I watch it.
Right.
Yeah,
I want
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
else to go and watch it. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
it's
yeah,
Tobago
yeah.
News Network or something like that. Take it in.
No.
And I
He
think
hit
that
some,
must
he
be
hit
what
some serious
Sanji
points.
was talking about earlier.
He hit some serious points, and whew,
Man on a different
We
level.
are to grow up, boy. Tobago people need to grow up. I'm sorry to go down this road now. We need to grow up. We are too petty on this island.
Boy.
Because there are a number of ideas that have been coming out from the people who is not in the forefront.
Okay.
And people not listening.
No, because you see, everybody think they know.
Yeah,
But you
that's
can't know, and we're not having something that we able to
Yeah, but
market
if we
properly.
know we're supposed to see progress.
Oh,
Thank
but this is
you.
it. We're not marketing it properly.
the fact that you know and you genuinely
just like
know
you
is
say.
because we ain't moving no way because you think you know.
We selling to the same people, the same 60. Oh, you could sell a product to the same 60,000 people you're selling to yourself.
Yeah.
You go, you like you say, you market something, you do all the work. When you're done, you go in the store and buy it yourself. That don't make no sense.
make no sense.
You're wasting your own time and your own money and,
And
your
energy.
resources. What we need to do is market to the outside.
Yeah.
And if
outside
it is
of
we don't do that, then we are going to be spinning top
in mud.
in mud. And I done.
Exactly.
It was
Exactly.
nice.
So guys, we have been well, I hope that we have been well informed in regards to the conversation. Not just informed, let us be a part of the conversation. Let us continue the conversation. Even so within your own space, you know, when you're going on, you're being you know, for some of those who like to be keyboard bully, instead of be keyboard bully, let we go in the direction of how we could be able to maximize with what we already have.
Come up with
You
the
understand?
ideas.
Now
and the
come up with the
discussion.
ideas. Even say we just had to throw it out in the social media and somebody had a comment, you know, now we started piggyback on bringing good ideas to the forefront. You understand? Don't be twisted. Hey, all the leaders just look on social media for ideas.
True.
They just watch social media.
True.
You understand? You know how much ideas I post on social media and then I realize it coming to materialize. And I'm like, okay, I don't mind. I'll look at thank you, but you know, but it is what it is.
At least it being done.
Nice, yeah, exactly. So again, we are here. We're gonna continue the conversation next week. We're gonna dive into it a little bit more, right? Because we really want to make the Tobago song a little great. We want to make it great. We want to make it great.
All right.
You understand? You understand? We're coming
Yeah.
off of a hype of what happened in Rhythm and Soul, and we just want to keep that momentum going. We don't want it to die. And soon come when you drop in music.
Actually, for the carnival, I'm hoping to drop something probably within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So I have 4 songs for the carnival. I want to drop all of them within the next 2 to 3 weeks.
So that means you're going soca?
I go in soca too.
Hey.
Yeah.
For a man who don't like soca.
well, you understand? No, but the thing is, let me be real.
Yeah.
I really want to say that to the people, but you know that soca is where the money is. So if it is, I really want to be making money in the
Yeah, you wanna-
industry. You know, come out, you want to do a thing, write good music, and enter soca competition.
So I mean, I want them.
Eh?
I mean, I want.
Oh gosh, well, no.
I thought about it myself, you know, but
No, you have to buy.
I had to get a vibe for that because
Buy.
again,
Some people say
yeah.
motivation, other people say discipline. I said discipline, eh?
What?
Sometimes you don't have to be motivated.
Yeah.
You just have to do it
Yeah, to do
because
it.
that is what
That
needs
is
to
what
be
needs to be
done.
done.
I just had the discipline to do it.
Well,
Nah,
might have to hustle like yourself too. Do like
but that is what it is. That is what it is.
Hustle.
So you know that? So you know that? The water lord?
Hustle the thing, man.
This is what it's about.
But it is what it is.
Yeah,
Hey,
man.
although it was nice.
Yeah, it was
ABW
nice.
Media Signature Media Plus. Right, Dev, Pete, Mr. Andy, Wilson Music Center. Right, we are here. This is our home, and it was nice being with you all. Thanks to the room for touching our gracing us with his presence. It was nice. I love
Yeah,
the
man.
conversation. Right, so until next time, we don't give a
Sip, man.
right. We got touch base. Or subscribe to YouTube. Yeah, subscribe, and
Yes, I.
share the live.
Share the light, share the light, share the light. in order to in order to go on the conquest that they went on, they had to get permission from who?
Mm-hmm.
The Pope.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Who is the Pope?
Mm-hmm.
The Pope is a representation of who?
Mm-hmm.
Rome.
Yep.
And who is the Romans? If you, I know,
Yeah.
forget that. let me go down. Let me go down. But the idea, living out.
So we enjoy the fits,
Mhm.
right? Enjoying the fits, whatever the case may be. Understanding the culture a little bit more. What my wife does do background for Calypso. So she started to get a little bit more knowledge as to what goes on. Yeah. They got ton.
That
Like a
when people,
industry, like a
people come
industry.
to Tobago,
Yeah.
just
What's wrong with us on this island? The conversation next week, we're going to dive into it a little bit more, right? Because we really want to make the conversation to dive.
money in
Yeah,
the
they
industry,
wanna-
you know.
I had to get a vibe for that because,
Buy
again,
money.
right, Dev, Pete, Mr. Andy, Wilson Music Center, right? We are here. This is our home, and it was nice being with you all. Thanks to the room for touching our gracing us with his presence. It was nice. I love
Yeah,
the
man.
conversation. Right. So until next time, we don't give a
Sip, man.
right. We got touch base. Or subscribe to YouTube. Yeah, subscribe, and
Yes, aye.
share the live.
Share the life, share the life, share the life.
Oh,